in their houses. They can't go out. Buses are used to transport the army.
وكذلك المدارس هذه المؤسسات الحكومية لم
Even schools are attacked, and they're using some of them as prisons for the protesters. They want our children to remain stupid and uneducated.
شوفوا إصلاحات بشار الأسد. شوفوا
Look at the rubbish in the streets. This is how they treat us. We have rats, but no water, electricity or communication here.
ما في شيء نهائيا أي من الخدمات. قطع للاتصالات. Close. Stop.
There's an army patrol ahead. We have to go another way. He took me to meet Muhammad, one of the soldiers who was ordered to attack the people of Baba Ama.
When it came to Bab Amir, we were ordered to kill everything that moved, everyone who was walking in the street. There were children. One of them called his friends who were playing in the street to come into his house for safety. As they were crossing the street, they killed the boy and another 6 children.
He told me he had just defected from the army to join the opposition the day before.
Our orders were to kill the Syrian people. It was never the plan to protect them from the armed gangs. Rather, we were being ordered to kill our own people, who at the end of the day are our own flesh and blood.
With the city in virtual shutdown, there's nowhere to go. No wonder angry people spill out onto the streets at night. At another demonstration the next evening, they'd clearly been tipped off that the BBC was in town. The posters were all designed for an international audience and expressed fury at Russia and China's refusal to back a UN resolution against Syria and for continuing to supply arms to a murderous regime. Members of the Revolutionary Council of Homs may look as if they're taking an exaggerated approach to their anonymity, but it is understandable. Is Syria now close to civil war?
The regime is trying to push us to be involved in civil war, but it will not succeed. We are aware enough of this risk. And in the demonstrations, you can see the Muslims and the Christians, the Sunni and the Alawi, marching together and shouting for freedom, freedom for all people, so that our real enemy is the regime itself.
On Friday, the protest still takes place during the day, after midday prayers. The protesters attempt to block off roads to delay the arrival of the security forces, and in a network of makeshift field hospitals, they're preparing for the inevitable casualties. Doctors have been arrested and tortured for helping gunshot victims.
The
normal thing would be to take the injured with gunshot wounds to the hospitals. To our astonishment, we found that when we did that, the injured were either arrested or killed. A man would go into the hospital with a treatable injury to his hand or to his leg, and his family would be summoned to collect a corpse with a shot in the head or in the chest.
But these medical points are hopelessly inadequate. They have to move once a week to escape detection, and they're desperately short of the basics: blood bags, antibiotics, and even antiseptic wipes.
Even in this place, at any time, we are in danger of being broken into by the security forces. About half of them suffer from head or neck wounds. And we just haven't got the means to treat them. No one brought here with a head wound has survived.
That day at the Friday protest, always the bloodiest, His worst fears were proven. Security forces shot at men as they tried to leave the mosque to join the demonstration. They risked bullets as they ran. Two men suffered severe head injuries and were rushed to the field hospital. We followed them there. Their injuries were too gruesome to broadcast, and the doctors could do nothing to save them. They were buried the next day. A day in which another 13 were killed in the city. Homs may boast the title of the capital of the revolution, but it has cost them dear. Of over 3,000 deaths in the Syrian uprising so far, and many believe it has been much more, nearly half have been from Homs. "30 kilometers away across the border in Lebanon, sympathetic Lebanese have sheltered increasing numbers of the wounded and defected soldiers now in hiding. Tens of thousands of soldiers are now believed to have left the Syrian army. Those who can have grouped together to form what they call the Free Syrian Army. Amer fled when ordered to shoot on unarmed demonstrators.
The Free Syrian Army are people like me. It's a virtual army, not a real army, as you may say. This Free Syrian Army is consists of a lot of groups separated among all Syria places or Syria cities, trying to protect the protesters from being killed on the streets.
Weapons have never been hard to find here in Lebanon, but this dealer showed me how the cupboard is now almost bare. He's importing weapons, he says, from all over the world.
Where? China.
And the price of a Kalashnikov has doubled from $1,000 to over $2,000 over the last few weeks. Who's buying them?
They are being bought by Sunni and Islamists, and they are smuggled across the northern border to Syria, though many are confiscated. For sure, with the amount of weapons we're sending over there is going to be a civil war.
When demonstrations erupted in the town of Rastan, just 15 kilometers from Homs, a group of army defectors, members of the Free Syrian Army, promised to defend the protesters. They held out against government forces for a week before the Syrian army quashed the rebellion. The rumor is that the survivors among the new army are regrouping and preparing to defend Homs, a possibility which the leaders here welcome.
The demonstration part of the revolution will continue peacefully. But on the other hand, the operations of the Free Syrian Army may increase more and more to protect the people. So we have now two lines going together simultaneously: the peaceful demonstrations and the operations of the Syrian Free Army. And the basic duty of the army of any state is to protect the people. We will win, of course. We see the victory in the eyes of the kids, women, elders, and all the young men marching every day in the demonstration. We will succeed, we are sure of that.
They're marching again in Homs tonight, in a brave display of the triumph of hope over 7 months' experience. We'll carry on telling Bashar al-Assad to go, one protester tells me, even if he has to kill every one of us.
With us now is Danny Abdul Daim, who holds dual British and Syrian nationality and was shot in the city of Homs last month. You may have seen our interview with him when he escaped to this country. Fida Kardous certainly saw it and was incensed by it. She's Syrian, lives in this country and returns to Damascus every year. It looks from that report as if things are getting a lot worse in Homs, doesn't
Actually,
it?
they are. They're getting really worse. They want to stop it, and they'll stop it in any way. They've got tanks, new army individuals in. They're shooting at houses now. They're arresting anyone under 60 years old, any man under 60 years old. They're raping girls, taking girls, raping them, so we could stop doing what we're doing, or they're being threatened about raping the girls in Homs.
It looks as if your country's on the verge of civil war, doesn't it?
It is. It is, absolutely it is. If the Free Army or the opposition or the armed rebels, they don't stop and resort to dialogue, this is where the country is heading.
But you don't deny that most of the killing has been done by the army and the government forces?
No, what about, if that's the case, what about the Syrian Free Army? What about it? Who's killing our security? Who's killing the army people? Individuals? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Well, these are people who were, as you heard somebody testify there, they were members of the Syrian security forces ordered to shoot their own soldiers if they refused to shoot demonstrators.
Claims. That's claims. It's everything to do with the opposition now. It's all claims. To us, what we want is just, we want the country we don't want bloodbath. We don't want civil war. We don't want our children to get killed. We don't want you to get killed. We don't want that. We only want to just have a peaceful transformation
That's all. Well, I don't know.
Could I answer, please, the question? First of all, we've never had any sectarian problems in Syria in all our history.
I beg to differ. I beg to differ, Danny.
Sorry. No, let me just finish what I'm trying to say, please.
Okay.
We've never had any sectarian problems, and if there is the government is trying to do it. It's going in.
Why would it do it now?
It went into all the Christian places. It wrote on their churches, "We will get you next," and it told all the Christians that we did that. We've never had. My friends are all Christians. My friends are all Alawites. We've never had any problem.
You're a Christian as well, aren't you?
Yes, I am Christian.
Secondly, what reforms? What is killed all these people? What kind of reforms can this government do? You've heard what they're saying on TV.
This started out as a campaign for reform, part of the Arab Spring.
Okay, can I just explain it?
It's now gone way beyond that, hasn't it?
Could I explain what happened?
Assad doing any reform,
Yeah, of course. Can I explain what happened? We went out. I was actually one of the people who went out. We were so scared to say we don't want this regime. So we went out for Dara, that's in Homs. We went out for Dara and we said we don't want the mayor. When the first bullet came out, when they shot the first man, we just asked for the regime to leave. No one was scared anymore. We thought, well, we're not going to live like this. We're not going to be treated like animals all our lives. Go to any security place to try and get anything, see how you get treated in there. It's been like this for 40 years.
If you can get to that security place, if you can get, and I'm talking about Homs, can you get and walk freely in Homs?
No, you can't walk freely.
I wonder why. I wonder why.
Because all the army and
all the army, Danny.
Yeah, the army.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I've been there. I've seen it in my eyes, and they've shot me. They shot 3 kids in front of me like 2 months ago. It's by the army, and they have civilians with machine guns standing with them. What does that mean?
Right. What about the army? What about the arms?
The defected army.
What about the arms that have been smuggled to Homs?
There might be
individuals, all these arms.
Well, I'll tell you something. If I was in their place, which I know they're not doing that right now, anyone wants to start protecting themselves. They want to protect their daughters.
No, they're not. I'm sorry. What about the security forces?
What's wrong with the security forces?
You're killing security forces.
No. First of all, the army's being killed by the security forces.
Oh,
the army,
please.
you heard this, the army that's not shooting. No, don't tell me, please, because I'm sure of this 100%.
What is it you fear may be the consequence of what's happening?
This is it. We're going to go into civil war. Simple as that. Simple as that. I'm 100% behind that. I know we're going to go. If you tell me or anyone else tell me that we're not going to go to civil war, highly mistaken.
Okay, and whose fault is that?
Because
Because we wanted freedom.
Come on,
you've been living.
Your
Okay,
freedom.
can I ask you something? You've been? No, let me say this. You've been living in Syria. You know that I can't say the president's name in the street freely.
Excuse me.
Is that
can
freedom?
I have my word in?
Have your word.
Thank you. I've been to Syria this summer, right? I've been in a cab. Okay, I'm Christian.
Right.
I've been in a cab. On the way back, when I got to my destination, I get the cab driver. He turned to me, right, and he said, once we get to power, you're not going to get to wear what you're wearing now.
Do you know I've heard that like 10 times now?
I don't care.
No, I've heard that about 10 times now.
Exactly. So what kind of freedom?
Look, it's a legitimate fear, isn't it?
Okay, can I just say something?
You don't know.
You
don't know how this is going to turn out.
No, I don't.
The Assad regime is a secular regime.
You're right. Can I try and explain something?
Quickly.
All the girls that are being kidnapped are by cabs. All the intelligence are driving the cabs. They're trying to make sectarian problems between us.
In Damascus?
My friend...
No, I'm sorry.
No, I'm not saying Damascus. I don't know what's going on in Damascus.
I was in Damascus.
They're like ants there. There's so many security forces there. No, don't be sorry. I'm saying the truth. That's what's going on.
I'm sorry.
But it is unarguable. You don't know how this is going to turn out.
Of course no, because we need outside help. We need people to help us.
That means you prefer a dictatorship?
No, I don't mean... I want reforms, Jeremy. I don't want dictatorship.
Reforms over all these bodies?
What about the ones the opposition have claimed?
Let's leave it there.
All right.
Thank you all very much, both of you. Thanks.
Danny, please.
Thank you.